Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing you an update what's going on at the garage. So, 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner 383 with the air grabber. So, we have her all finished. The owner is on his way here to come pick her up. We did a lot on this car. Remember, we did all of the brakes, all new drums. We put the adjusters in for the brakes because this was a non-adjuster car. When it came to us, neither the front nor the rear had adjusters in them, self-adjusters. So we made them a self-adjusting brake now. That came out all nice. We did have a bunch of problems with the rear brakes because we ordered the first set of brake shoes. When we got them, the liners, instead of being on the center of the brake shoe positioned this way, they were down towards the bottom, positioned low. The problem there, and I'll put a picture up of it and to show you and compare the two different ones. The problem with that is when you push on the brake, the liner never really releases from the drum because of the position of the liner. It keeps dragging the brakes on it. So we ended up having to go through, before we got a set, all same part numbers. It took 4 sets before we got a set where the liners were centered on the actual brake shoe. So that took a lot of time. We have over a month in just waiting for liners to come in. So yeah, that was a real PIA. We also, remember, we did a brand new oil pan in here, brand new transmission pan, fixed some of his steering because he had a couple of loose parts, loose pieces on the steering linkage. We resealed the valve covers because they were leaking really bad. This one was leaking especially bad, and the problem we're still gonna have probably is the bottom rail of this valve cover is a little bit bent because it's old. It's the original valve cover. So we tried straightening it out as much as possible. Still has a little tiny bit of a leak, but nothing terrible. I let him know about it. The only way we're gonna fix it is to put new valve covers on it. And the problem with that is everything on this motor is original, and I really would rather not change that. Let's keep it original. It has a little tiny leak, it has a little tiny leak. We also fixed his wiring. The positive cable was really in bad shape. All of the insulation was dry rotted and cracking off, as well as a lot of the wire. The copper in here was corroded and broken. So we put a whole new wire on there. We even brought the charge wire out to the relay over there, the starter relay, as new, as well as the wire going into the car to charge the system. So that's all new. We had a charging problem with the car, and we found out that the plug for the voltage regulator was bad, and it actually ended up damaging the voltage regulator plug as well. So we put a new plug on, put a new voltage regulator in. That fixed that problem. Then when we get to the inside of the car, we had an ignition switch problem. When he first came here, you had to jiggle the switch to get it to start. Once you got it start, everything was fine. Well, it got to the point where you would jiggle the switch, it wouldn't do anything. So we ended up having to take the whole steering column all apart, put a new lock cylinder in, ignition lock cylinder, this piece right here. We had to replace that, as well as the switch inside the steering column over there. We had to replace all of that. While we were under there, we found a couple of wires that were in really bad shape, as well as some really bad repairs to some of the wires under there. So we fixed all of that as well. And so now the car is running and stopping and going really nicely. We have done a lot of work on this car, a lot of time into this car, but she is way better. So the owner's on his way. We are gonna go for a test ride, and I'll get you some video once we get out there on the road with it. I will keep you guys up to date. Have fun. Okay, bye.